Have remained with us this afternoon. We are here for the student-teacher panel. This is your chance to ask them anything you want to know. What's the uniform like today? What do you love most about Bryn Mawr? What do you hate most about Bryn Mawr? Anything else? Oh yeah, no. So this is very casual. This is question and answer time. Yes, and we are going to lead off with Rebecca, one of our award winners who just heard from, and she's going to ask questions addressed at any of our 4 students who represent all 4 grades in the upper school, plus our wonderful 2 teachers, Diana Park, who is the upper school English teacher and the advisor to the Asian Student Union, and Tania Vines, who is new this year to Bryn Mawr. We're very happy to have her, and she works in our middle school, teaches the seminar class, the Vision and Voice Project, where students create something real for someone real, and she is also the middle school theater director and led Shrek Jr., which I know some of you heard about earlier today. So without further ado, I will turn it over to them. Why don't we just start very quickly going down the line, and students, if you want to introduce yourselves a little bit about when you came to Bryn Mawr, what you're involved in now. Of course, everyone who has picked up their Alumni Weekend booklet will have a full bio for all of our students and our panelists. But Gabby, I will turn it over to you to kick us off. And then once we do our introductions, Rebecca will ask the first question.
Okay, so hi, I'm Gabby. I'm a senior. I came to Bryn Mawr in the 9th grade. A couple of things I'm involved in. I'm the senior class president. I played varsity soccer and track, and I also swam for 1 season. Other than that, I was involved in BSU, Focus, and Model Congress.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm what some people call a lost and found Bryn Mawr girl. So I came for I came for kindergarten and 1st grade, and then I was gone until 5th grade, and I've been back ever since. I'm going to be vice president of Eco Council next year. I'm involved with Mock Trial and the Sunrise Club, and I was in the school play this year, Alice in Wonderland. Oh, and I'm also in Day's Eye, so some of you might have seen me singing Jerusalem out in the tent this morning, which was very fun. I saw some of you singing along, which was great. And what else did you say? You added more, something else? Okay, well then that's all. I'll pass it to you.
Hi, I'm Lulu. I'm in 9th grade. I came to Bryn Mawr this year. I'm involved in varsity soccer and varsity lacrosse, and I hope to be an eco rep for my grade this coming school year.
Hi, I'm Logan. I came in 9th grade to Bryn Mawr, and I am a swimmer, so I swim on the swim team here, and I also swim out of school on a club team. I'm involved in the yearbook club. Next year I'll be the senior events section main editor, and I'm also a double language student in Spanish and French.
Good afternoon. I'm Tania Vines, and this is my first year at Bryn Mawr. I spent 15 years at my previous school in Washington, D.C., moved a little closer to this area and just couldn't take the commute to Washington anymore, and found Bryn Mawr and hit the ground running. I'm having a wonderful time as the middle school drama director. I'm also the teacher facilitator for the middle school BSU, 8th grade seminar coach, and a 6th grade advisor. So it's been a very exciting year, and looking forward to more.
Hi, I'm Diana Park. I'm an upper school English teacher, and I teach all the grades except 9th grade. I'm also a 10th grade advisor, and as you may have heard, I also co-lead Asian Student Union, and I'm very lucky to teach Logan. She's in one of my junior classes, and I honestly can't think of anything else. But, it's my 5th year here. And before I was at Bryn Mawr, I actually taught at a charter school in Harlem for 3 years. So.
Yeah, so basically the uniform is, obviously we have the light green skirts, as you can see, they're very green. This is the spring uniform, and I'm wearing leggings because that's now part of the uniform. Sweatpants are a no-go, but leggings you can wear if it's cold outside in the winter or in the spring, either one. We have the white polo still, and then any school-approved Bryn Mawr sweatshirt from the school store is okay, basically. It doesn't have a hoodie, it's basically the only requirement.
Yeah, we also have like dark gray pants now, and you can wear those in the spring or the winter.
Yeah. Another change to the uniform has been for gym drill. You're now allowed to wear shorts that look a lot like the skirt. They're the same material, but they are actually like short, but they're very long.
I have a question for any of you, and you don't all have to answer. What was you were all new to Bryn Mawr at one point. What was the biggest surprise to you? Or was there a surprise?
I previously attended a small like Catholic school, and so I expected Bryn Mawr to kind of be. I didn't expect to feel as welcomed as I did when I came here. I felt that everyone kind of accepted me as if I had been here forever, and there was never any isolation. It was very surprising that a school so small had such like a great community feel. There wasn't a lot of clickiness because it's really what I expected.
Yeah, I agree. Since this is my first year at Bryn Mawr, and coming out of COVID, and before that I actually like homeschooled for a year, I don't know what I was expecting, but I think like Gabby said, just everyone being so welcome, it was just really refreshing and nice, and I really liked it.
I think, my first week here, I just had to keep pinching myself because after every class, just about every student said, thank you. And I was not used to that, While I had very respectful students at my other school, just hearing, thank you, Ms. Vines, thank you, Ms. Vines, and it just being so sincere and authentic, I was like, okay, you're welcome. I'm doing my job. But I just thought, just creating that culture of kindness, I felt it on day one. And so it was both surprising, refreshing, and, just really sets Bryn Mawr apart, I think.
I think for me as a teacher, it was similar to my own high school experience. I had gone to Exeter for 4 years. And one of the reasons I love teaching at Bryn Mawr and why I'm here is because we use the Harkness tables and the Harkness method. And we have class discussions, especially for English. But I think what was most surprising to me, especially when I think about my own high school experience, is how supportive and caring the teachers are, but also how curious the students are about their teachers and about us, and actually come to office hours and ask for help and get email, that there's a lot more collaboration between students and teachers.
So when I was a student here, there was a lot of emphasis on the classics, not just mythology, but also a lot of us took Latin. I think pretty much all of us, and some of us took Greek, and as well as French in my case. And I just wonder, is that still the case here? Or is there still is Greek and or Latin offered? And do you study much Greek or Latin or Roman mythology?
Well, we had to take Latin in middle school, so we took 2 years of that, which was great. It's not offered at Bryn Mawr, but it's offered at Gilman now. So I have some friends who crossed the bridge to take it, and there's a lot of really great language offerings. I take Arabic, which I really enjoy, but it seems like the people who are in classics get a lot out of it, and people are really interested in mythology, I think, in recent years again. Probably a little bit because of the Percy Jackson books, which I'm sure all of you have heard of.
I was just curious about your English classes and what subjects or things you're teaching in English. Are you still doing the classics like Chaucer and more modern classics and things like that?
I would say that we are constantly tweaking the English curriculum every year. But one of the things that we pay a lot of attention to is, because of our DEI work and efforts, and to really represent more voices and more students in the classroom, is to be a bit more thoughtful and selective about who we teach. But I would say in terms of the classics, it's not so much a part of our curriculum, except in the senior electives, because we offer so many different kinds of senior electives. But for example, right now in 9th grade, students are reading Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Are Watching God. in 10th grade, we just finished The Color Purple. And then in 11th grade, we are still working through Beloved. But we do read some classics. Of course, there's always Shakespeare, and Jane Eyre is still a strong part of our 10th grade curriculum.
I'm a big classics fan. I like to read a lot of Jane Austen in my free time and that sort of thing. So when I heard we weren't going to be reading those sorts of classics, at first I was very disappointed, but I've actually really enjoyed the curriculum this year and last year. Alice Walker's The Color Purple is probably my second favorite book of all time now. I absolutely adore it. So I was a little worried at first, but I am really glad for the way that the curriculum in English has been.
I have another question, and by the way, this is much of the class of 1972. Same. You all identified yourselves. So, at what point do you get to choose the foreign language that you'll study? I also love languages, but for us, we basically had no choice. It was German every other year, French on the other years. So German, French. I wound up in a French class along with Latin.
Yeah, well, I kind of I take two languages, so I chose that in 9th grade. I took French in my middle school before I came here.
And does everyone, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, does everyone take French at the beginning?
No, they let us choose from, I think there's 7 different language offerings, including Arabic, French, Spanish, Russian, Chinese. There's so many different offerings that you can take at Roland Park as a coordinated class, Gilman, or you can take just French or Spanish here. And they let you pick pretty much from anything you would like. And I picked 2. I did a special tract because I wanted to do more than one, but they really allow a lot of flexibility within that, especially if you are interested in languages.
And what about in the lower school? What happens?
Yeah, so when I first started, everyone took French from kindergarten, but now I actually think you get some choice starting in kindergarten between French and Spanish, and in middle school you get to make the choice again, and then it expands into the 7 different languages that you can take once you get to high school.
So I had a question. I've been in the energy efficiency industry for many years, and a couple of you mentioned Eco Club or something. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so ECO is one of our school-wide organizations. I think we have 6 of them. Is that right? Yeah, 6 of them. And so ECO organizes a lot of fun events over the course of the year. I'm really excited. I've been on it for freshman and sophomore year, and I want to continue with it all the way through high school. Our main event of the year is Harvest Fest, where we organize a bunch of local vendors to come and sell sustainable goods to the student body. And we have games, and every club can organize a table. So it's less of a club and more like a student government position, but it's really great. And it's so fun to have so many different student-wide organizations, not only because it means we have a lot of fun events every year, but also because I get to see all of my friends and basically everyone in the community who's looking for a position in leadership or to really explore something they're interested in and share it with the rest of the community definitely will have that opportunity.
Yeah, there's 2 rep spots for each grade. So talking about leadership, so many people get an opportunity to be a leader in the community. And it's just that's really interesting. Instead of having just one person, you can have 2, and then you have a secretary treasurer, you have VP, you have president. It's just a lot of opportunities for a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm. And for reference, I think the 6 organizations are government, an arts organization, one focused on community service, the environment, and then athletics. So I think that was the last one. Oh, and the cafe one, Community Alliance for Equity.
So I know the school has done incredible work in the area of equity and belonging, and I wonder, especially sort of as you've gone through COVID and are hopefully moving out of it, what changes you've seen, both as a teacher and as a student in that area.
lot of the change that I've seen hasn't just come from the school, it's also come from, the students. I think people have become more aware and better at having conversations, not just on issues of diversity, but just in almost every area since COVID, which kind of seems counterintuitive because we haven't been talking. But my theory is that it's just people have so many pent-up things that they've been wanting to say for 2 years, and now in class discussions, everyone just wants to talk, and I really enjoy it.
I mean, coming from a school like prior to this that didn't really talk about diversity and it was rarely mentioned, it was so nice to come to Bryn Mawr. Like, I'm half Southeast Asian, so coming to Bryn Mawr and just seeing people and you had a spot where you could belong. Like, there's ASU, there was even a Southeast Asian Student Union too. So it was just really interesting and just felt so comforting to have people in my community and have a place for me to be for like all parts of my identity.
Yeah, I think as a school community, since COVID, we've been trying to, make sure everyone feels like they're seen and heard here, and everyone has the opportunity to talk about what's important to them. And so this has really become, I guess, a safer space than it was before, because it's not like Bryn Mawr was never a safe space. I just think we're more willing to kind of hear people out and make an effort to move forward together as a community and give everyone a chance to feel that sense of community.
Over the 5 years that I've been here, I've seen all the affinity groups grow, not just in number, but in terms of what they do. For example, the Asian Student Union was, I think, revived my first year here. And we started out with maybe 20 regular members, but now we have maybe 50 regular members coming to the meetings. And what's also interesting about this year is that each affinity group has been given their own convocation. And so they have a space for the upper school where they can talk about an issue that is important to them and to share their story and their voice and their perspective. And the convocations for the Black Student Union are amazing. And they just get even more and more amazing and impressive each year. And it really speaks to the power and the creativity and the strength of our Black students. And I think about ESU, we've also been growing in terms of the kinds of activities and events we do. I think the first year is more about cultural events for like celebrating just cultural awareness and heritage, but to do things that are more, are bigger. For example, our student leaders this year and last year have been heavily involved in starting the Maryland DePeter Conference for high schools in the area. And part of that was in response to the rise in anti-Asian racism from the pandemic to combat that. And so I see those changes. And one thing I'm trying to be cognizant as a teacher, especially an English teacher, where we do have personal writing, is how do I build trust in the classroom, especially early in the year, so that students do feel welcome and safe and open and to be themselves. That's something I think about constantly. How do we build trust?
Can I just follow up on that and ask you, do you have other than Asian students in the Asian student group, or is it just strictly Asian students? Do you share things?
So with the Asian Student Union, we have, it is right now predominantly East Asian students. We do have Southeast Asian students who attend. There are also students who are biracial, whose one parent is Asian, and they're exploring that side of their culture and their heritage and that community. We also have students who are allies, who just want to come and hang out with their friends, who are also in ASU. So we definitely have that. For instance, right now, a big group of them have gone off campus to get boba, to celebrate and say goodbye to our 3 senior leaders. And there are Black students and white students, allies and friends who are going on that boba trip.
Is that generally true? Because I know there are other groups within the school. Is that
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say it's the same for BSU. I know we have a lot of a lot of like my friends who are allies come to our meetings, and we've even had them involved in our convocation. So it's really for anyone who kind of wants to help bring awareness to Black issues, and we've welcomed them. So it's been pretty open.
Do you guys have anything else that you want to share with us? Maybe a favorite book or presentation or topic that you've learned about in class recently, or something you're proud of that you've done in a club or on a sports team that you're active in?
I just thought of something. How do you all feel, this is for the students, about gym drill? Just curious. We all been there, done that.
Yeah.
To be honest, people love it or hate it all the time.
I love some parts of gym drill. Most parts of it. Like, I love the community around it. I love sewing my sash, even though I always poke my finger doing it, because it's not that I like am completely incapable of sewing. It's just like the material is so tough. You all remember it, so like I'm sure you guys have had the same experience.
Actually, we did not have sashes.
Really?
Lucky.
Our stuff, whatever we might have had or not had, just was sewn on our tunics.
Interesting.
Yes, and we had,
We sewed our bars and stars on our tunic.
Oh.
yeah, that's what if we had bars of stars, that's what I meant, Josie. If we had them, they were sewn onto our uniforms.
So, okay,
Interesting.
so for the students, for reference, when we were here, not everybody got bars and stars.
And there was not a bar for every year, every school year.
So how would you earn a bar or a star? Like, what was the process for that?
Do like really well in dance class,
Oh.
allegedly, and then they would grant you to try, and like it was based on your performance in dance class.
Okay, so I would have had no bars and no stars because
Yeah.
I am just an atrocious dancer. My little sister is a great dancer, so I think it just all like skipped over me in genes or whatever. But I love gym drill anyway, and I try my best for the dances. I love the opening exercises, and we're actually not doing the closing dance this year, which I'm really sad about. If you guys remember, it's like the circle one, and it's like gym drill is such a funny community experience because everyone knows certain dances that we do every year so well. So I will be at like hanging out with some friends or just in a big group of Bryn Mawr students outside of school, and one person will start doing like the jump with the jumping opening exercise, and just like 10 girls will start doing it. It's the funniest thing. So I love that aspect of gym drill.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's the same for me. Like, I think with gym drill, like, Bryn Mawr students will always make fun of gym drill at the end of the day. Like, but when we're talking to other people about it, it's our favorite thing about Bryn Mawr because it's our thing. I mean, no other school tradition can compare to gym drill. Actually, my aunt went to NDP, and she always calls gym drill fake gym meat. And I'm like, no, it came first. Yours is fake gym drill. Like, get it right. But I will defend gym drill to the day I die, to anyone who's not familiar with the Bryn Mawr community. But when I'm talking with my friends, we're laughing about like the different things we do, like this sword dance that we do in 9th grade. We laugh about that. But I tell someone else about it, I'm gonna be like, yes, that is the best thing in the entire world. So I kind of like that I get to have the dual experience with gym drill.
I mean, like, I've never actually had like a real gym drill. Like last year, it was all like COVID, so it wasn't quite the full experience without the bazaar. But I'm really excited for this year, and it's really funny because each year I've learned these dances, and I've like put a lot of effort into dance class, and it ended up not paying off at all because I just was super uncoordinated for nothing because we never ended up doing it. And I was like, oh great. So this year, I missed a lot of dance classes. So then, like a week and a half ago, I was like, oh no, I need to learn the dance. But I've enjoyed it since a week and a half ago when I actually got to start learning it. But yeah, it's gonna be great. And my swim team, a bunch of girls from Bryn Mawr also swim with me every day, and we're very close. But the rest of the people in our group will be practicing the dance on the deck before practice, and we'll have to like defend it. We'll be like, no guys, it's not weird. And they're like, no it is. No, it's not. It's not weird at all.
No, I mean, everyone loves to rip on gym drill like in the weeks leading up to it, but on the field or like you said, like if anyone comes for gym drill in any way, like people will maybe give them a little lenience of like, oh yeah, haha, it's a little culty. But then if it goes any further than that sort of joke, like everyone's like, no, it's gym drill, it's our thing. Like it's great, I love it.